I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's webcast. I want to talk to you about Isaiah chapter 19. Now, you recall chapter 17 talks about the destruction of Damascus. Has never happened yet, and some say it could happen this summer in the year 2010, that there's a big war looming with Syria, the Hezbollah, and perhaps the Hamas as well. And then there's chapter 18, which deals with the Ethiopian Jews. At least that's what I think it represents. I'm convinced that it says, at that time shall the present be brought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled. I think that represents the black Jews of Ethiopia. They have been rescued. There are perhaps a few others still yet to be rescued. Nevertheless, this is an end-time prophecy. Everyone agrees that it's an end-time prophecy. Well, let's look at chapter 19. It too seems to be an end-time prophecy, not a burden of Egypt in Isaiah's day in 741 BC, but into the far future to the end of days. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt. Now we know that that could represent the second coming of Christ. We don't know exactly when that's going to take place, but he's talking about the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So here's what happens. Let's begin with 1948 and the birth of Israel. He says, I'll set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother. Well, in 1948, King Farouk was overthrown by Abdel-Gamal Nasser. He became the strong man of Egypt. It says, the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord and a fierce king. I think that cruel lord and fierce king was Mr. Nasser. All right? And he became the strong man, having overthrown King Farouk in 1948, and he ruled for several years. Then comes the building, you remember, of the Aswan Dam. The Aswan Dam was built with Russian technology. And verse 5 says, and the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up, and the reeds and the flags shall wither. And by the paper reeds by the brooks, and the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers shall also mourn. They that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, and they shall spread nets upon the waters. They that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. In other words, the fishing industry is going to be terribly affected by something in the Nile River. Well, up at the north end of the Nile River is the Aswan Dam that was built and while Mr. Nasser was the strong man of Egypt. And it affected the fishing industry. It affected the waters of the Nile River. They dried up. It's not as powerful as it used to be. And so this, to me, fits perfectly the destruction of the Nile by the building of the Aswan Dam. Fishing industry is just a mere shadow of what it used to be before the Aswan Dam went in. And then comes the 6-day war. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? Let them tell thee now, let them know that the Lord of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt. Even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any more work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And that day Egypt shall be like unto women, be afraid, and the fear, because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt, and every one that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he hath determined against it. In the 6-day war, Israel, in 6 days, destroyed the Egyptian air force, destroyed the Egyptian army, conquered Egypt, so to speak, though Israel took the Sinai Peninsula, as a buffer between Israel and Egypt. Israel did not try to overrun Egypt or did not drop big bombs on Egypt, but they did win the war. And they had Egypt in